Welcome to the fall semester 2025. This video has one purpose, and that is to get you started in the class. So the first thing you need to know, if you're not already in Canvas watching this video, is how to get into Canvas. And really the easiest way is just to go to the college's website, saddleback.edu, and then go to logins here and then click on Canvas, and then you will need the same credentials that you used to sign up for this class in order to access Canvas. Once you're in Canvas, it'll look quite a bit different than what you're seeing here of mine, but the idea is that you go down to the class that you are after and click on it, and it'll bring you inside the class. Now before we go on further, what if you can't do that? In the email that I sent to you, you will have this information, and that is a toll-free number to Canvas. You'll have the technical help desk at the college, and then a link for disabled student service. If you're having login issues, you would want to use the technical help desk at the college, and then if you're having Canvas problems, you would want to contact Canvas. And here is the phone number for the college help desk and the direct website link. Now, to get started in this class, you're in the right place already by watching this video, which applies to all the classes for fall of 25, or I should say all of my classes. And then you will watch the specific video that will be in Canvas on the home page right underneath this video. Definitely take some basic notes. I really like the idea of having a cover page for each class that you take that has the essential stuff for that class, so that you never feel lost on how to get started or how to find answers to anything. So anything administrative, where to go to get help, how to name files, which will come up later, and then basic video watching. If you go to the bottom left of the video, you'll see icons that'll make the video bigger. You'll see the little gearbox, and you can change the speed on most videos. Also, if there's anything that you're thinking, wow, he didn't really cover that in a whole lot of detail, there will be another series of videos that you will watch called the Getting Started videos. I'm sorry. This is the Getting Started videos. There'll be another series of videos that are part of the Welcome and Orientation module called the Welcome videos. All right, I want you to know that I really care about your experience in this class, and I'm going to try to make everything as straightforward as humanly possible. And I just really want you to take the time to watch all of the videos that I provide. Take the notes so that you have a good experience in the class. All right, so once you click on a class and you're inside of it, a lot of the navigation or important navigation is right here. If you can't see that, there's a chance that you need to click the little hamburger menu, and that would look something like this, like nothing here other than this. So you come up here, click this, and then all of a sudden that shows. I often get emails from students saying that a particular video is not available, and that's 99% of the time just not going to be the case. What happens is sometimes Canvas gets a little bit stuck in delivering the video. So if you're ever on a page and it looks like the video is not available, click right here to refresh the page, and that should fix the problem. If not, of course, let me know. Make sure that you use Google as your, or Google Chrome, I should say, as your browser for using Canvas. It just has way too many problems with other browsers. Familiarize yourself with the home page in Canvas for your class. Now don't worry if you look up here and you say, hey, I'm not in this class. Everything I'm showing you applies to all classes. So, but you'll see all the kind of pertinent information. Just familiarize yourself with this, because there'll often be information or links in here that you'll be going back to consistently. Now, I already told you about some resources for getting help. But just know a couple simple avenues if you're ever having problems finding anything, or just like there's some big issue that you can't resolve. One, you can go to Saddleback's website. You can click here on the search bar for whatever it is you need help. But something that's even more convenient is once you're in Canvas, there is this little button here called Student Support. Looks like a little ring buoy, and the college has done an excellent job of putting everything that you probably would ever need for help in one area here. Let's talk quickly about software here. For any of the classes that I teach, we use the Adobe Creative Suite. We do have 4 computers in the Learning Resource Center that you could use if you do not want to buy the software yourself. There'll also be some other avenues for using computers in our area at limited times, and I'll talk more about that in the upcoming videos. But there are no substitutions for the software, so you can't say, oh, well, I have a very similar software to Adobe Illustrator. Can I just use that? The answer is no, and the reason is it just becomes like a teaching nightmare that I might not be able to expect you to get certain things done in your software, and then it becomes like a grading conflict. Plus, if you're thinking about becoming a graphic designer or certain aspects of illustration or animation, at least parts of Adobe Creative Suite are the industry standard. If you do want to get the software for yourself, the best deals that I have seen are through this link right here. And just want to take a quick look at that with you just to make sure it's working and everything. Yeah, and then here, if you just do, well, you can see they already have something here for Adobe because it's probably the most powerful thing or most popular thing that they have here. But if you do the search, you get to it as well, and you can see that you get half a year for $50 and a whole year for $99.98. So that's an extremely good deal. But feel free to use the Google machine and or the search engine, and if you find a better deal, that's great, because either way, buying software is 100% on you. I have no control over it. Let me just repeat that, because I get a lot of emails saying, oh, I'm having troubles with college buys. I'm not getting my code to add the software or whatever it is. I absolutely do not have any control over that. So when you choose a vendor to get your software through, just make sure that you follow all of their instructions to a T. If you have problems, you have to contact them. Something that can be quite confusing, though, to students is with this cloud-based software, you can actually download the software but not be able to use it. So, for example, you can download the programs, have them on your computer, just like you see here when I click on the little Adobe link up here. So it's not only like downloading the software, easy. You can do that at any time. Using the software, you need a code for that. So be prepared for this whole process to take about 5 days. The good news is if you've never used the software before, you get a free 7-day trial. Now, if you only did this for one semester, last semester, you will need to do it again ASAP, so your software doesn't stop working for you while you're working on a project. And it's very important to understand that computer issues are not a valid excuse for late assignments. And the reason I can confidently say that is we have 4 computers for you to use at the college, but if you act now and get your software, you will not have a problem. And another thing to keep in mind related to due dates is a due date does not mean that this is the time to turn it in, right? If you wait till the due date / time to turn something in, you're taking a chance that in this age where everything's run by computer, that it is going to be flagged as being late. So get your stuff done a couple days early. A few days early is even better. But just know that if it's late, it's late. Good news is that's not really the end of the world if you turn something in and it gets marked as late. I'll go over all that, but it's not like in the working force where if you do something late you could get fired. Not nearly that punitive. Emailing me through the rest of this semester, you should only email me through Canvas. One of the reasons is I'm in Canvas a lot, and you will get priority if you email me through Canvas. Also, when you email me through Canvas, it automatically says what the name of the class is that you're emailing from. And you won't have to take a chance on spelling my name incorrectly. So the easy way is you just go right here, you click on this little inbox icon, and then you just simply go down here, and then you're going to, actually all you have to do is click compose, sorry, and then you will choose the class if you need to. It might automatically have it, and then I have this over to the edge here because I don't want you to see previous emails that have been sent to me, but it's very straightforward. You'll select who you're sending the email to, and it might say instructors plural, but don't worry, it's only coming to me. Here, this is a little better. So this is what you'll see. It'll say teachers, but I'm the only teacher in the class, so, or you can specifically select me and then just put in your subject and your message, and because you are in the class, it'll automatically tell me that, and it'll save you a step. Now, if you need to give my email out because you need somebody else to email me, such as Disabled Student Services or something like that, you'll find my email on the syllabus right here. But again, please do not use this to communicate with me during the semester. My email responses will probably be more like a text, so please don't take it personal if I don't, put dear so-and-so when I'm responding back to you. My goal is to respond as quickly as I can, and I often get a lot of emails. And related to that, please try to keep your emails very succinct, very on topic. Just, let me know what the question is. I often get emails that start out with 3 paragraphs of excuses. Now, if you're doing that because you're going through some kind of mental stress, please know that I'll help you as much as I can, but I'm probably not the best person. A, I'm not trained in that kind of stuff, and B, emailing someone when you're, super distressed and waiting for a response is really not the way to go. So if you're, if it's an emergency, there's all kinds of things, and you can find them basically by Googling like suicide prevention. You'll see this text or call 988. So that's going to be your quickest thing. If it's not quite that serious, but you still would like to talk to somebody, either searching the site for student health services or clicking on that ring buoy and going down to student health and wellness center is your next option. Please remember, I treat all students equally. So if you think that if you write me this super long email of how rough your life is, that I will be able to bend my syllabus for you, unfortunately, I cannot. So I have to follow what's in the syllabus, including a doctor excuse is really the only excuse that you'd ever need to report to me. And we'll talk more about how excuses or basically late work affects your grade, and that if you have an actual doctor excuse, that would be overridden to a certain extent. But what I'm trying to make sure is that you realize that I have to treat everybody the same. I have to treat everybody fair. It's not like I don't care about your problems. I very much do. I very much feel for people that are going through things. And another email related thing to touch on is technical questions. You'd be surprised the amount of emails that I get that have a technical question that I really have no idea what the person is ultimately asking me. So I made a video that goes over how to structure a technical question, and preferably how to include a video that shows what the actual problem is. Because what I really need to know is what you are doing, what is happening, and how that's different from what you expected to be happening. So if you scroll down on the home page, you'll get to this section right here, tips for emailing a technical question, and then just watch this video, and I should be able to then hopefully succinctly answer your question. All right, and then you'll want to always check your announcements, because each week I post an announcement, and also anytime there's anything that needs to be updated, it will be in the announcement. The announcement will also remind you what module to go to. So like here in week number 2, it says, all right, your assignments and your due dates will all be covered in the week number 2 module. The other thing is, in these announcements, if you're taking an online class, there will be an update video posted in here that you will be responsible to watch each week. It will cover, the key things that came up that week and things to watch out for the following week. And then the modules link is maybe the most important link, because it is really the entire structure of the class. So this first week you'll do this welcome and orientation module, and the week number 1 module. Each week after that you would just have a single module to do. But one thing that often creates some confusion in the modules is students doing it in the wrong order. Always just start at the top, work your way down. If you see one that requires to be marked as done, you need to make sure that you do just that. But if you just randomly go in here and try to access one, it'll let me do it right now because I'm the instructor. But let me just switch over to student view so you can see that. So if I try to click on one of these, I can't get at it. And I get emails from students saying, you need to unlock your modules. Well, no. If you go to the top and you do each one in order, and then look down here next to the next button, if there's a module that says mark as complete, you need to do that. And I'll show you one. So here's one right here. And if you forget to mark that as done, you'll try to go to the next, you'll click the next button, and it will come up with this like requirements that need to be done. And it can be confusing, but it basically tells you what you need to do. And so if you just simply go back, actually mark it as done, then click next, and then it will bring you in properly. So do not, and I repeat, do not use the calendar or any other means in Canvas for accessing the content. Use the modules button, start at the top of the module, work your way down. Then you won't have any problems. Another thing, you got to pay attention to the due dates in Canvas. Nothing should ever be turned in more or sooner than 1 week before the due date. There's several reasons for that. I'm not going to get into them now, but let's just suffice it to say that you need to pay attention to the due dates, because here's something that can come up. So just going to explain this to you vaguely, but again, if you always pay attention to where you're at, start at the top of the modules, work your way down, this won't sound as complicated as it might at first. So let's pretend we're in week number 3, and we've got a project that we're starting, but it's not due until week number 5. In week number 3, you're going to have some things that are due as a stepping stone to get you to the completion of this project that's due in week number 5. One of them is to read the entire scope of the project, right? It doesn't make sense to start working on the project unless you know what the entire scope is. Well, there'll be a link that takes you to the entire scope of the project. That will jump you into week number 5, because the way the modules work is you will see the module where you actually submit the project, but that's where all the instructions are. So you just have to look in week number 3 when it's time to turn in your work for week number 3. If you look at the due date and it's 2 weeks into the future, you'll go like, oh wow, I'm in the wrong spot. And you'll realize, yeah, that's what it is. I'm in week number 5 when I should be in week number 3. Let me just try to give you a quick visual on that too. Now remember, this is just purely an example. You may or may not have this project, but I'll go to more of an extreme example. In week number 5, this project here is introduced called the midterm project. Now, the midterm project is not actually due until week number 8, but you got to get started on it, right? So if you jump in to the module in week number 5, you'll see a link that'll take you to the midterm project so that you can read through it and know exactly what it's all about. But it brings you into the module for week number 8. And once in the future you get to week number 8, this is where you'll use the technology to turn it in. But in week number 5, you actually start doing things for the midterm projects, for that midterm project. And then in week 6, you actually turn something in for it. So you just want to make sure that you're here when you go to turn in what's due in week number 6. Right? So again, if you just look at the due date and it's not more than a week in the future, you'll know you're in the right spot. Okay, you'll also see a grade link over here. We'll talk more about that in the near future. Please do not submit work either in person or online unless it's complete and ready to be graded. So when you actually click to submit work, like I kind of showed you here, that's for completed work. Don't just put something in there to suffice me or hold me over. And I know other instructors want you to do that. So that's, again, why it's important to have a section of notes. And you go, oh, no, this is what Steve wants me to do. Don't turn it in until it's due. And I only have 2 weeks to turn it in if it's late. So don't just throw something in there because it's going to get graded and it's going to get graded poorly. So like, for example, if you're required to submit 2 items, get them both done, submit them both at the same time. Once work is submitted and the deadline has passed, it will be graded, and I do not regrade work because you need to pay attention and turn in what's due. A lot of people think like, oh, well, I didn't do so good on that one. It would be really nice if you'd let me redo it. Well, no, that's part of the learning process, is you need to learn what needs to be done and do it right. And if you mess up on that one time, there's plenty of times coming up for you to make up for that mistake and get a higher grade. Yeah, so that's basically what I was just saying here. So the next thing that you want to do is watch the Getting Started video that is specific to your class, and you will find that. If we look at the home page, the video that you're watching right now will be located here, and then the next video will be located there. And then after you've watched both of those videos, you get to look forward to what used to take 3 hours to go over in person in class has been condensed into about 90 minutes in 6 videos called the welcome videos. And those will be located in the modules under that orientation module at the very top. If your class does not meet at all in person, you can go ahead and skip on to the next video. If your class does meet in person, just one thing to be aware of is that once class is established with times, and I usually write the times up on the board, you don't have to ask me if you can go to the bathroom or anything like that. Just make sure that you're back before the next thing that's written up on the board is scheduled to be talked about. Raising your hand in class is not always the best way to get a hold of me. We've got these huge computer screens in front of you and one in front of me. I probably won't see your hand go up. So feel free to yell out my name if you're close enough. If you're further away, just come and get me and say, Steve, I've got a question for you. I mean, if you can ask me there, you ask me there. If not, something I need to see on your computer or your station, just bring me back there and I will take care of it. Make sure that you bring earbuds/headphones to every class, because if you get ahead of the game, you can start watching the next videos. If you're waiting for me to get to you and I've got like 5 students ahead of you, you can go in and listen to videos, and you might even answer your question while you're waiting for me. Make sure, very important, that you bring in your login credentials for the first day of class. Well, really for every day, but the first day we're going to try to get into the computers, and if you don't know what your password is and or I should say like your username and your password, guess what? Neither do I. And that'll just like hold you back 1 week from being able to get into the computers. So yeah, just definitely make sure that you know what your username and your password is. And I'll see you on the first day of class if it's in person. If not, we'll keep working through the modules.